Following Stephen WonderBoy Thompson's absolute clinic over Kevin Holland in one of the best fights of the year to close out 2022, even though the year isn't over yet, there's still some more fights to come. Other fights could top that, but this, without a doubt, was by far one of the absolute greatest fights of the year for sure. Top 5 in my books. WonderBoy then said post-fight that he wants fun fights, which I'm down for. He said that if you guys want more fights like that, give me a striker, baby, which I'm down for that. He's like, give me a striker. I'm always looking for the title. That's always at the top of the list, but why not have some fun fights on the way? Okay, so it turns out Stephen Thompson hasn't given up on his title aspirations like I thought. He still wants that title. He still wants to make a title run, but he's asking for stylistically favorable matchups at the same time. He's still begging the UFC to not give him well-rounded fighters with any kind of ground game or grappling who will take the fight to the ground against him. He only wants to fight guys who will just strike with him like Kevin Holland. But I'm sorry, WonderBoy, you can't do both. You can't do both, okay? The UFC is not going to do you any favors if you're just begging them to give you the most stylistically favorable matchups possible. That's just not how you're going to get a title shot, you know? The best strikers in this division are not the kind of fighters that are going to get you a title shot, okay? The strikers of the welterweight division are not ranked ahead of you. And you want strikers, but again, they're ranked behind you, but you want a title shot at the same time. You can't get a title shot going backwards. That's not how this works. You gotta look to go forward in the rankings and fight the highest ranked guys that are gonna get you the shot. And the guys that will get you there, unfortunately, are some of the best grapplers in the division who are not going to be prideful and try and stand and bang with you. These guys are gonna try to take you down. You know, you got to get through Burns, Muhammad, Khamzat, Colby, Usman if you want to get to that title shot so badly. Like, if you want to fight for that title, you got to show the UFC that you want all the smoke and that you're not trying to tiptoe your way around the division to get a title shot. Because tiptoeing your way around is just not how this is going to work. Especially when you're on the older side of your career, you're almost 40 years old. The UFC is going to kind of look to get rid of you, and they're definitely not going to look to do you any favors. Regardless of that exciting performance you put on, it's not going to matter. I mean, you beat an unranked Kevin Holland. You didn't beat a ranked opponent. And you did yourself no favors by declining Shavkat Rakhmonov. So by doing that, you kind of shot yourself in the foot. Had you took that Shavkat Rakhmonov fight, and let's say you beat Shavkat, a guy who's like ranked number 10 and a prospect that right now the UFC is putting a lot of value behind. If you could have derailed Shavkat Rakhmonov, you know, as the veteran in this division, the UFC might have considered doing you some favors, you know. That could have really helped your career if you took the Shavkat fight, if you took that risk and you won, but no risk, no reward. And you're asking to rematch Jorge Masvidal, which honestly, I'm not against that rematch. It's a fight that I think both guys need in their careers right now, especially Jorge Masvidal. But beating Jorge Masvidal again is not going to get you a title shot. It's not going to get you a title shot. You beat Jorge again, then what? What are you going to do if you want to get a title shot? You can't just beat Jorge. You can't just win fights over Holland and Jorge and say, now give me a title shot. No. If you want a title shot, you gotta want all the smoke with the toughest dudes in the division with the most risky matchups. Like, you should be calling for a Burns rematch, a Bilal Muhammad rematch, a Khamzat Chimaev fight, but I know you're not gonna take that fight because you know you'll lose, or Colby Covington or Kamaru Usman. Although Usman right now is off the table because he's getting the rematch with Edwards. Still, that doesn't divert from my point. You got to be calling for the top guys. You got to get in there with one of these top 5 dudes. And if you beat either one of them, which is unlikely, then you have a case for a title shot. But of course, Stephen WonderBoy Thompson is not willing to do that. So based off that, he's not helping himself at all. And he's just not going to get a title shot. if he's just not going to take the risks that will get him to that title shot. So, WonderBoy, you got to make up your mind. Either you still want to make a run for the title or you just don't care anymore. You just want fun fights that are stylistically in your favor. You can't do both. You got to do one or the other. That's how this is going to work. One or the other, WonderBoy. You got to make up your mind. Because right now, it doesn't seem like WonderBoy truly knows what he wants. Like, when he was coming off the loss to Bilal and Burns back-to-back, and he said, now I just want strikers. You know, I did kind of understand. I did get it, because he was on a 2-fight losing streak, and he needed a win, and a grappler just wasn't what he needed at the time. I get that. But now coming back, you can't just say, okay, I still only want strikers, but also I want to work my way to the title. It just does not make any kind of sense. And that's not really a championship mindset, okay? No offense, that's kind of a coward's mindset, saying, please don't give me any risky matchups. Please give me styles that are going to favor me. Like, WonderBoy, this is MMA. This is mixed martial arts. You're not in kickboxing anymore, bro. You are in an MMA organization with MMA fighters. And if you want to be the best, you have to be able to be good everywhere, and you got to be prepared to fight everywhere. Okay, this is MMA, not kickboxing. And the guys ahead that will get you a title shot, like I said, are grapplers. And as I said, with that approach of asking for easy fights and turning down tougher fights, risky fights, but wanting a shot at the title, like I said, that's not going to do you any favors. If the UFC sees that, they're just not going to reward you. So, again, you got to be willing to take the hard road if you want to get that title shot. You got to be willing to do the time, you know, with these tough guys who are not the most favorable matchups for yourself. And if you're able to beat them, good. But if your takedown defense and ground game isn't good enough to deal with these guys, then so be it. You're just not good enough to be at the top with your kind of one-dimensional style. No offense, I'm sorry. So, yeah, but those are just my thoughts. I mean, this is why I respect RDA so much, because RDA just doesn't care. RDA will fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. When he actually was on a run for the title, did you see this guy declining Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington? He's like, no, I'm going to fight the baddest dudes on the planet if I want to be a champion. But now RDA has made up his mind and said, you know what? I don't want to make a title run anymore. So now RDA kind of has leverage to ask for these kind of easy matchups because he knows what he wants. And WonderBoy right now kind of doesn't. So we'll see what happens from here. But yeah, Stephen Thompson definitely ain't getting no title shot unless he can do what I said he should do, which I don't think he can, and he definitely isn't willing to do. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and peace out.